In fall 2019, we set out to do something that we'd never done before. From the very beginning, God gave us a vision to be the church of Jesus Christ, and we get to see this simple vision lived out in life and power, starting right here, reaching to our city, the nation, and the nations. It's such a joy to get to do this together. In 1996, God gave me a specific word, Nathan, and really applied it to my personal life. And over time, I began to understand that word Nathan. It's a Hebrew word that means given, and it's used over 1,800 times in the Old Testament. And I began to understand that I was to be given to God and given for others. And really that makes sense. I mean, that's the character of God. That's the heart of God. That's the love of God. That's the image of God. And He wants us to be given to God and given for others. And we began to understand that this generosity initiative was to be called the Nathan Initiative, that it wasn't just for me, it was for the entire church, that we were going to be a Nathan people together. It's been a joy to see people get a hold of this vision of individually and as families, and I love hearing this language even from children, that we are given to God and given for others. Our primary goal from the start has been 100% engagement. We've known from the very beginning that if we could get all of the disciples that consider Antioch Fort Worth their home to be engaged in generosity, this was a win for the church. It's a win for all of our disciples, and it's a win for us in the mission of God. Our secondary goal then is to advance the mission of the church in 3 primary areas: every day, every sphere, and every nation. Every day involves the ongoing mission, our budget over the course of the 2-year period of the Nathan Initiative. That's the everyday part. Then every sphere is where we gather as a church, but then we go out into different vocational areas of influence, and the fact that we want to have a headquarters for the ongoing work of the church here. So that helps empower all the spheres that we touch out in our city and beyond. And then the every nation part is the fact that we are called to be a life-giving, multiplying, and reproducing church that not only touches our city, but touches the nations of the earth. These 3 mission areas represent $7 million in finances, and that is our goal from December 2019 through December 2021. So right now we're at the midpoint of this Nathan Initiative. It's a 2-year journey, and we've gone a year into it. And who could have predicted all of the things that we've already gone through in 2020? So where do we go from here? First off, I think it's important to reiterate that the Nathan Initiative is not just something we did last year. It wasn't just a sermon series. It's who we're called to be as a church. And by the grace of God, we find ourselves right on track with where we expected to be even before the coronavirus. We consider this a miracle. We're so thankful to the Lord. 2 years is a long time, and so we're taking the opportunity to evaluate where we're at in the middle of the journey, not just corporately, but also as individuals. In our walk with the Lord, we don't ever want to get complacent because Jesus is always calling us into deeper friendship and relationship with Himself. In the same way, we want to keep moving forward with the Lord in the area of being given to God and given for others. And our generosity is an absolutely integral part of how that happens. I believe that God hasn't blessed us to stay still. He's calling us to go deeper in worship, surrender, mission, and in generosity. We've resolved that we won't stop asking God what He has next for us. So where are we going? We're starting a new series today, the Given series, which means Nathan, and we're going to be doing that over the next 5 weeks. And we look forward to that time individually and as families and as the church coming together and looking at our lives, our commitments, and how we're moving through this time. We're challenging everyone to be engaged with us by taking one of these 3 steps. Step 1, the new commitments. That's for those of us who are new to the church, new to the Nathan Initiative, and maybe you were even in the church back last fall, but for whatever reason didn't jump in at that time. This is a fresh invitation for you to live a given life and to join with us by making a commitment over the next 12 months to the Nathan Initiative.
So when I moved here, I had friends tell me about the Nathan Initiative, and you got to look it up. They're really excited, and I was like, what's the big deal? I don't really get it. And so as I started coming here, I think the leadership, obviously led by God, is just they're really cultivating a spirit of giving and of commitment to Jesus and what He's doing. So I came here, I didn't have a job, and I thought, hey, I don't know if I can really participate in this because I don't have income to give back to the church. But the more that I have seen of, hey, what this is actually about, I realized, one, hey, God is big enough that I can still give even without getting income, right? But the other part is this isn't about money. It's about discipleship with Jesus. It's about a culture of giving and commitment to Him. So far, the Nathan Initiative has looked like jumping in and linking arms with people and walking in community with them in discipleship. So committing to, hey, I love you. You're made in the image of God. I want you to be able to walk with Jesus and grow with Him. And so walking arm in arm with people and doing that, specifically in the context of life group. That's obviously been really helpful in the midst of a pandemic. But that's what it's looked like so far. And I feel like I'm still learning, hey, what does this look like?
The second area is to finish strong. This is for those who made the commitment last year, and now it's time to just consider where are we at in this whole process. Maybe you went to an entirely new level in your generosity, making the largest commitment that you've ever made, and you're still adjusting life to it. For you, this is a commitment to persevere and to finish strong in the journey that you began by faith. We all stand together, encouraging one another, and we know that the Lord is faithful. He will provide, and we want to finish strong in our commitment to the Nathan Initiative.
Through Christian's health journey, he had not been able to work. And so in March of 2019 was the last month that we received any income. And we felt in our hearts that God was calling us to still continue to give in faith. And so even though we were not receiving any income, we gave as if we were still receiving that same income.
You ask yourself, do you really believe that God is your provider, your Jehovah Jireh? We all talk about it, but do you really believe? And so I think that was the challenge for us from the Lord. We acted in faith, knowing that despite the situation and the impossibility that was in front of us, we had no income coming in, that we would continue to give as if we had not lost anything. Because in the reality of God's kingdom, we had not lost a single penny. We have a very rich Father. So why would we think that He would just leave us out to dry? We had to believe, and we chose to believe, that He would hold us steady.
The third area is increase. Some of us made our Nathan Initiative commitment 1 year ago, and it's possible that we've had an increase in faith or finances. It's not that keeping our commitment has been easy, because it's likely required sacrifices. But you may sense the Lord leading you or stretching you with an additional step of faith in your generosity. And we challenge you to respond to His generosity by increasing your commitment.
At this midway point with the Nathan Initiative, it's just, okay, I don't want to be hampered by my pledge. Like, Lord, is there anything else that you want? Is there anything else that I can do? Like, how can I grow even more in generosity? And just like, there's so much joy in it, and there's so much like, yes, the Lord wants to partner with us. Like, He does not need us to build a building, to have a house for, people coming off the field. He doesn't need us. He created the world out of thin air. Like, He can create a building and a house out of thin air, but He chooses to partner with us and to send kingdom funds through us. This is the Lord's dream, and look, we get to see how the Lord is footing the bill and how He's bringing, everybody together to make this happen. And so for us at the midway point is just, okay, God, like, is there anything else that we can do? Is there anything else, any other way that you want us to be faithful with what you've given us?
You know, generosity is not a one-time event, it's a journey. So consider asking yourself these questions. Am I still giving in a way that challenges me? Am I living out of being a Nathan person who's given to God and given for others? Pray and ask the Lord, is He inviting you to take a step of faith with increased commitment? You know, the last 12 months haven't been easy, and some of us have made some of the most generous financial commitments that we've ever made, and we are amazed to see how God is providing for us in our lives. As we find ourselves at the halfway point in the Nathan Initiative journey, let's truly take the words of the Apostle Paul to heart. They gave themselves first to the Lord and then to us as well. My hope is that these next few weeks will be encouraging and invigorating to your faith, and that you will continue trusting and treasuring Jesus with all of your life, and that through all of us, Jesus will extend His kingdom in and through us. So let's do this, church. Let's go for it. Let's be a people who are given to God and given for others.